Welcome to the video tutorial on how to use the mysideline.com web hosting feature as part of Turbo Tourney. When you place your order for the web hosting option, you will receive an email that has information about how the web hosting works. This is an example of what that email might look like, and has some instructions on how to go ahead and set it up. This tutorial is going to show you how to do those steps basically. You'll also notice that in the email it tells you what the URL will be of your website on the mysideline.com website. If we go ahead and try to go to this site right now, before we've done anything, what you'll see is that it tells you that nothing is there yet. No pages have been posted to this website yet. So your site is there and available, but we haven't done anything with it yet. And that's what we're going to do in this video tutorial. So I'll go ahead and close the browser and the email. The first thing we need to do is, as with any pool in Turbo Tourney, is to set up our options. I'm not going to cover all these options right now in this tutorial because that was covered in a previous one. But let's go ahead and just call this one 2004 mysideline.com tourney. And the first thing we do to configure the web hosting is to go to the Tools menu and select the FTP Manager. And on this screen here, the main thing we want to look at is the Host My Pool on mysideline.com. So go ahead and select that option, and you're told that this is a feature that requires the purchase of the hosting add-on feature, and if you would like more information you can go to the website and read more about it. Since we've already purchased it, we're just going to go ahead and say no, we don't want to read anymore, and we'll continue on with the screen. The first important setting is the prompt, and you have a couple of options. Every time you create your website files, you can either have the program never load them to your website, always prompt you to load them to your website, or just go ahead and always load to your website. So you might want to use the always prompt option, where if you build the website you can browse it and look at it on your computer first before you upload it, so you can fine-tune it, tweak it if you want to change colors or fonts or whatever you want to do with it until you have it the way you like, and then you'll want to upload it to your mysideline.com website. If you don't care and you just want it to always update your site every time you build it, you could use the always FTP option. I'm going to go ahead and select the always prompt because I'd like to be able to control when it loads to the server and when it doesn't. And then the next field is my email address, which is the email address of my account that I used on the turbotourney.com site to place the order. And I ordered this under tutorials at thesideline.com, and I'll enter in my password to my account. The launch after uploading, basically what that means is whenever you upload your website files, what that will do is, as soon as the upload is complete, it will launch your browser and load your website automatically. So that's a good option to go ahead and leave selected. Uploading images, the website may contain some images that it needs to have, and if you select the upload first time only, it will upload the FTP image files to your website that first time, and then it won't do it again after that. So typically if you do it the first time, that's all you need to get the files there, and then after that it only needs whatever HTML pages have changed. But you can also have it upload the images every time just to make sure that they're always there. Never upload them, which you probably would not want to do, or you can have it prompt you again just like it does for the site files up above. I'm going to go ahead and leave this as upload the first time only. Now on the applies to, you can select what kind of files you want to have the program triggered to go ahead and load to your website. Typically I would just recommend selecting all of them, but ideally you're probably only going to have your website files. Deploy via web files are probably the only ones you actually will need to upload, but it doesn't hurt to go ahead and select all of them. Basically the difference is the web report files is if you run a single report, like say the current standings, that's a web report file, and that will just upload those report files to your server. PDF report files, export report files are something a little bit different. Again, they're reporting, but they're a single report to a PDF format, or if you export to a text file. The website files are what we use when we do the build website option, which we'll show you in a minute, and that's primarily what you'll want to have selected. And the deploy via web is needed for your players to collect entries, to submit their entries on your website. So go ahead and just select all those options, and in the transfer mode, I just leave this as upload files in chunks, and that way the files go up kind of piece by piece until they're all done. This is all you need to configure the FTP Manager to be able to interface with the mysideline.com website. So we'll go ahead and save those options. And while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and just save this file now to my computer so I don't lose it. And I'm going to call this the mysideline file. Save it. Now, the next thing I can do once I have my FTP Manager configured is just to build my website. And to do that, I simply select the Tools menu and then Build Website, or I can use the toolbar and select the Build Website icon as well. When you select the Build Website, you have some options on how you want it to appear. You can control whether or not your home page is called default.htm or index.htm or home. It really doesn't matter, it's just more of a personal preference. I'm going to go ahead and leave mine as default. The home page link on the home page itself, or on the website, it has a link back to your home page, and you can call it home or my page or my pool page, whatever you like. Again, just more of a configuration. Mainly these settings are all just how to configure that main website page that will come up. So you can play with these options and see how it looks for you. In general, you can probably leave them as they are and it will look perfectly fine. So then once we have all of our settings the way we like them, all we need to do to build the website is click on the Build Website icon. And I'm going to be told a few things here now, since my pool is just kind of starting, is that there's no players yet, so any reports on the website that need to have players will be skipped, like the current standings report, for example. And that's fine. I also don't have any game results yet, so no game results will be uploaded. I don't have any rules yet. I don't have any prizes yet. I don't have any news yet. And those are all very common things. So the site's been created, and it's now, since I chose the always prompt option, it's asking me would I like to FTP upload to the mysideline.com website. And I'm going to say no, because I want to take a look and see what it actually looks like right now, just on my computer. So as you can see, it's created the website, and basically, since we don't really have any information yet, there's no players, there's no results or anything, there's really not that much to choose from. But I can at least here see what my website's going to look like when it gets loaded. So I'm going to go ahead and close this down. And now let's take a look at some of those things that we're missing and see how we can fill them in. Let's go to the rules page, and here I can go ahead and I can type in any kind of rules that I would like to include with my pool. And you can enter in any kind of text you want here. And the same thing applies with the prizes and the news. So on this pool we'll say first place wins a t-shirt. And we can go into the news and we can say have a great pool, and whatever you want. So you can type in pretty much any information you'd like. And now if we go back and we do the build website, we'll still get the message about the players and the results, but we no longer get the message about the rules and the prizes and the news. And I'm going to say no, we don't want to upload it yet. So again, it now loads it back up just on my hard drive, and it has the news, the rules, and the prizes now in the website since I've filled them in. The other thing I could have done is, if I did not want to include those items in my website, I can remove them from the website package. So if we select the reports menu and then the report setup, and then we select the report package, this determines what files basically show up in your website. So if you don't want to have, say, the tournament prizes to show up in your website, you can turn that option off. So you can control pretty much any report that shows up in your website, whether you want it or don't want it, from the screen right here. So let's go ahead and let's say that we don't want to include prizes anymore. We can come back and we can do the build website. And at the bottom of this, I didn't mention this earlier, but you can control also what shows up on that home page. So if we don't want to include news, we can uncheck it here as well, and that way it won't show up on our home page. And we build the website. And so now we have the rules and the prizes, but we don't have any more news links. So every time you change an option with the software, whether it be a font or turning off report, just go back, build website, and it will refresh those files. Now let's go ahead and take a look at what it would look like when we upload it to the server. So we're going to build it again, and we're going to say yes. Let's go ahead and upload. So now it's uploading all my report files to the mysideline.com website, and now it's uploading the images because this is the first time we've done it. And since we have the launch after uploading, it's going to load up the website right in the browser off the bat. So as you can see now, it's no longer referencing my hard drive. It's now going to the mysideline.com. So now this is the URL of my website, and I can copy and paste this into an email message to send to my players on where to go to get to the pool website. So it looks the same as it did on my computer when I ran it locally, but now those files are posted onto the mysideline.com website. So this is, in a general sense, how you go about building your site and getting it uploaded to the mysideline.com website. The one thing you'll notice now is there's no place to go ahead and enter the picks. The enter the picks part of Turbo Tourney is done as part of the deploy via web. So let's go ahead and run through the deploy via web setup. We start the deploy via web by selecting the remote menu, deploy via web from the menu item, or we could go ahead and choose the deploy via web toolbar. If I can find it, here we go. Deploy via web from the toolbar does the same thing. So now, as part of the mysideline.com web hosting, I would recommend you just use the basic method of web deployment, because that will put the entry page within your website in the mysideline.com versus using a special location on the Turbo Tourney site, which is what the Simple uses. So we're going to go ahead and leave the basic options selected, and I'm going to say I want to send the pics to my email address. The pool ID is optional. If you're running multiple pools, you'll want to separate them with some kind of identifier, and that's what the pool ID is for. And we're going to do the receipt mode of all entries in one file, and that's the most efficient way to collect your entries. And now we can change our title of our entry page. We can specify a deadline. So for our test, we'll just say that the deadline is March 14th at 9:00 p.m. Eastern Time. And I'm not going to go through all the options in the deploy via web because that will be covered in a later tutorial, but just kind of going through what we need to get set up to show you how to build it onto your mysideline.com website. The player information now, I can select what information I want to keep track of or want to collect on my entry page, and it shows you what player information fields you've set up in your options. In our case, we have the player ID, which is name, last name and first name. We're also collecting phone number, fax number, and email address. And I'm going to say that we want to collect all those fields, and that the email address is required along with the name, but the phone number and fax number are optional. We're not using the 4th and 5th fields, so I won't select those. We're going to let our players attach a comment to their entry. That's fine. And I don't have any players entered yet into my pool. You can, if you want, you can preload your players and then just provide a drop-down list for them to select their name, but generally your pool starts off with no players in it, and the way the players get there is by submitting entries. So I'll leave that blank for now, and we'll continue on. And here's where I can put in some additional comments. I'm just going to use the sample text for that. Again, like I said, we'll cover this in more detail in the Deploy via Web tutorial. We'll leave the point-click selections. And now basically I'm told just to confirm the settings. Select Next. Now on the Generate Components page, the key item that we want to pay attention to here is the Include Entry Page in Web Report package. If you want this entry page to be integrated in with your MySideline.com website, you'll want to select that option to include it into the website package. And we say Finish. And I'm being told that no pairings have been entered yet, so a generic entry page will be created. And that's fine. And now again, I'm being asked, I want FTP it. And we're going to go ahead and say no to that. Now that I've created my entry page, I want to go back now and build the website. And since I selected the option to include the Deploy via Web entry page with my report package, it will now be integrated in with my website. So we'll go ahead and refresh our website with the pages. And now you see that we have the Enter Your Picks option, which wasn't there before. And if I select that, I get my entry page, and I'm told here again that the entry page is not available because there are no pairings yet. So if you imagine we're doing this maybe the Friday before the selection show, so the pairings aren't known yet. But once you fill in the pairings and rebuild your entry page and your website, then this pairings entry page will have the teams in it. So to test that, let's just go back. Let's change our year to 2003. And now I'm going to download the pairings. So this is going to be like what I would do on Sunday night. So now I've got all my pairings loaded. And I'm going to go back through the Deploy via Web. And it retained all my settings. I'll keep everything the same. I'm just going to recreate the entry page. I'm not going to upload it. And then I'm going to build my website again. And yes, we'll upload it. And now the entry page will have the teams loaded and players can start making picks. So if we select Enter Your Picks, and now we can see that we have the entry page now, and people can come and they can start making their selections. So that in a just general way is how you build your website with the MySideline.com. And there'll be some additional tutorials with some more information on how to use that Deploy via Web feature and get your picks entered and loaded into your Turbo Tourney pool. But this tutorial was just meant to show you how to configure the FTP Manager to access your MySideline.com website, how to use the Build Website tool to create your website files, and how to use the Deploy via Web part of Turbo Tourney to integrate the entry page in with your website. And that was the tutorial. Thank you.